Hey guys, do you ever feel like you're speaking projector, but the world only speaks generator? I know I have.
Yes. Yes, I have. And it's as if the world simply doesn't get us. And sometimes we don't even understand ourselves, like this week.
Well, that's okay. We are here to change that. Welcome to Projectors in the Wild, where we share our personal experiences in life, parenthood, and business as a projector, doing our best to thrive in a generator world.
Hey, folks, I'm Heather Vickery. I'm a transformational coach, speaker, and author here to help folks like you, conscious leaders, learn to lead from embodied joy, because joy as a set point rather than an end goal changes everything, even when it's hard to do.
Yes, and I'm Natalie, a success coach for business owners who are ready to get out of the way, their own way, release those blocks that are holding them back.
Folks, as projectors, we are not here to fit in. We're here to guide and lead. And on Projectors in the Wild, we're sharing raw, honest truth about what it's like to be a projector out in a generator world. The good, the messy, the downright confusing. We're putting it on the table, no filters.
So if you are a projector who's ready to embrace your unique flow, or someone who just wants to better understand your projector friends, pull up a chair. We're about to get real, and it's going to be a wild ride.
Oh, Natalie. There was like, there's no enthusiasm. If anybody tuned in, they probably already left. But that's okay. I'm not apologizing. There's replays. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Because we were joking just before we went live that the raw and unfiltered, like we really mean that. And I could just tell by both of our faces.
Yeah. I moved around a lot of things today. Because I realized my environment was real cluttered, and it was not helping my real cluttered mental space. So I've been cleaning. I actually am proud of myself. I did a lot of self-care today. But I didn't get, I'm not what you would call camera ready, but I'm ready and I'm on the camera.
Exactly. We are here. Yeah. I have not done a lot of self-care today. Today feels like the day that I'm going to get back in the saddle with some things. Like last week, I didn't do any of my study for my metaphysics PhD. I was really just barely hanging on. And so I'm going to try today. And I usually, if I don't do that kind of stuff in the morning, I often don't do it. I don't know if that's you, but you're structured and routine. Your chart shows that. My chart shows that I'm not, but somehow if I don't do it in the morning, it's probably not going to happen. I'm supposed to be doing NaNoWriMo this month. I wrote for 2 days and then that went out the window. I kind of knew though. I kind of had a sign. I mean, listen, I was out of town the first weekend in November, which was the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. I got back on the 4th. And then the election. I was like, this is dumb. Why am I doing that? So anyway, I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like with that morning thing, I literally I do have more energy in the morning. It's not okay. So let me like phrase that for somebody who is not a projector. I don't mean that I get up and I'm like, oh, boom, 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 boom. I just mean mentally, because that's not what's happening. I just mean like mentally, I feel like I have more resources, mental resources. So I have lately been, there are days where I'll get up and go to the gym, but that's not very many days, like 2 or 3 maybe. But the other days I pick up my laptop and I bring it to my comfy couch and I sit there and I just get started knocking out the things that I know I can do. And I just have that space. And then I feel like, like it just, for me, there's a certain amount of, and this might be the structured thing, there's a certain amount of nothing will make you feel better except doing the work. And I don't mean that in like pushing through and ignoring yourself. I just mean you will feel better just checking some of these things off your list. Like if you're dreading them and it's spinning and spinning, then that's actually draining you more than just doing it. So I've been kind of doing that more lately, and I kind of like it. But then I do notice I am drained by the end of the afternoon. And I'm kind of letting that be okay. Like it's dark now. I'm just going to let that be okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the first things that they teach us when we're studying human design is that as projectors, we are not designed to work more than 3 or 4 hours a day, which is super counterintuitive to a generator world, right? Super counterintuitive to hustle mentality. And so, yeah, if you power it out in the morning, you should be able to rest by the end of the day. But that goes for me for those self-care-y things. If I'm gonna, I don't really work out. That's probably something I should change, but whatever. I do chair, I do chair workouts. I sound like I'm disabled and I'm not. My partner just looks at me and walks away. But I don't know what it is. I get tired and my knees hurt and like all these things. And so it's movement at least, right? But I haven't done that in weeks. So if I'm going to do any of those things, they have to happen like before noon. And if they don't happen, they're probably not going to. The only thing that I haven't let slip at all is my Duolingo. And I think it's because, I don't know if you guys can see this. I have this like giant Duolingo widget on my phone and it's literally the first thing I see. And I'm like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
And that helps me a lot. Like I need those visualization reminders. That's where I go into maybe like I have some undiagnosed ADHD. But this past week for me though, it was just more about like nurturing my broken heart and allowing myself to be really raw. And I mean, I went from like fully broken, devastated to really deeply into rage, like really raging, and then crash.
Yeah.
Like so tired. And now I'm like, okay, I feel like, and this is, I don't know how much of it is a projector thing, but I'm curious to chat with you about it. I feel like I have to somehow restructure components of my message out into the world right now, because my message is hope and joy and being happy and choosing yourself and choosing to believe in possibility. And I think so many of us are really struggling to find any of that right now. And I know that it's there and I know that it's important and that these things can be partnered.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to be insensitive to it.
Yeah. No, so do you mean like you still want to talk about joy, but you don't want to be, you don't want to be insensitive to people that can't find it right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think what just came for me was like, people are gonna we all are projecting on each other all the time. Is there a possibility that somebody might project, oh, well, you should, I can't find joy right now, and how dare you talk about talk like that? Possibly. However, there's probably more people that really need to hear that, even though I feel like I'm tapping script right now, even though I feel very
in a corporate training session on Friday, because it was a Pride resource group and everyone was just, so anyway, keep going.
No, that's like, even though I feel hopeless, I deeply, completely love and accept myself, but like, I'm open to the possibility of maybe it's microdosing joy, we talked about microdosing hope. It's like, you have to, or else they win. Like, we've got to refill that tank and just keep that fire lit,
Yes. Yeah. And that's, I think, where I have been restructuring it is like, look, take it slow, take it easy, honor yourself in this process. I mean, I think this is where even being a generator in a generator's world will fuck you up when you're experiencing collective trauma.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're somehow just supposed to power through because that's the conditioning. And it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just like being all toxic positivity all the time doesn't work. Being all anger and rage all the time doesn't work. Both of those things are only going to take you so far. They've got to meet in the middle.
Yeah. And I think also with us as NLP practitioners too, it's like, and coaches, like certified coaches, we're not here to tell people what to do. We're not here to tell people how to feel. We're here to reframe and give more empowering options as choices. We're here to just increase choice for you.
Yep.
And you get to choose what feels the best for you in any given moment. It can be, because it's been moment to moment, not like I feel great today and now I don't. It's like every 5 minutes. Yeah. So, and just giving yourself permission to feel it, but then choose, what do you choose next? Maybe it is you choose to go cry in your bathtub. Fine. But then what do you choose next? Like there are other choices. And like that, also, one more thing on that is like that we know this because of science. We know this because of that 2.3 million bits of information that's available to us at any given moment. Yet we boil it down to 126 bits of information. So there are other options out there for us to look at and choose if we want to. So like we know it's backed with science.
Yeah, we know it is. We do know it is. And, I feel like it's a revolutionary concept to say, if the choice you're making is to go cry in the bathtub, there's some intentional joy in that. That sounds wild, right? But there's joy in allowing yourself to do the thing that you need to do in the moment and to feel that comfort with yourself. Like I have a launch. I was supposed to launch. We have a 5-day creating abundance challenge, which I'm rerunning. I did it a couple of years ago and we're doing it again. And I've been planning it for a couple of months and we were supposed to start the launch last week. And then I was like, no, we're not going to do that. So we're launching tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, so how do we get this message out? But I think that's it, right? Like find a way to make whatever is work with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it working for you right now? And there were moments where crying, and I don't take baths, but crying in the shower or laying in my bed crying, or like screaming after a hypno breath work because I had to release some anger, right? That was serving me. Yes. Now, if I stayed in that for, neglecting things that do bring me joy,
yes,
that wouldn't be serving me, because now I'm denying myself the things that do. In the past, I would have felt guilty for doing those things, like the things that bring me joy, like literally just going to get coffee. It's not like anything crazy, but I don't anymore because I know it's so important.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting the way you phrase that, because I agree completely, which is if you stay in that, if you don't allow yourself to go into that space,
right,
then I think you're perpetuating, because what you resist persists, right? So you allow yourself to move through it, which then gives you what you need to move on to the next micro joy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's just a projector thing. I think that that's a human thing, but it does feel a little bit different as a projector, because emotionally, I just did not have as much to give.
Yeah. Honestly, I felt like I had my own emotions and my own fears. But I was absorbing a lot.
Oh, that's it.
And I think that's when the tipping point happened. It's like, the toxins were too much. I just felt kind of sick. I just had to be on top of moving that. And I think, the difference too is there's and it's energetic, and you kind of will know it if you're in it. I think if you're attuned to it, and maybe if you're not attuned to it, you might not know yet, but there's a difference in just being. It's almost like people want to say, oh, I'm just feeling my feelings, but they're not really. They're kind of just low. They're not really in it. They're kind of dissociating from it, but staying in that low frequency of that, instead of you can feel it, feel it, rage it out, scream it out, cry it out, whatever you need to do. That's the real experiencing of that emotion and letting it flow out of you, and then I would feel like there were times where I just would take a walk and just be overwhelmed. It's beautiful outside. The weather was amazing. I'm like, this does not match the vibe.
Mother Nature not get the note that these are dark days.
I'm watching, these are dark days. I was watching my daughter on stage and she's singing and I'm like, so much joy. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like like actually feel it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, in that same corporate training program I mentioned earlier, we all went around and I restructured because, conscious leaders need to be really aware of what's happening within your community, within your culture and your environment, and meet people where they are. So we just sort of shifted some things. And I had one member who said, all I feel is rage and anger right now. And I know that's not healthy and I need to get out of it. And I said, there's nothing unhealthy about your rage and anger.
Yeah.
There's nothing unhealthy. Yes, you still have to be a good human. You still have to be kind. You still have to, be thoughtful about what you're putting on other people, but your rage and anger are righteous.
Yeah.
And right to them. So I did. It's funny that you were doing this and it wasn't through hypno breath work. I said, maybe we all just need to scream like out of our lungs. I said, if you are in a space where you can mute and scream, let's do that. And if not, we did silent scream, like, but I muted myself and I actually stood up and I like screamed my head off and I stomped and everyone was like, oh, I had no idea that would feel so good.
I know, it really does.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine who like, she can't get herself to scream. Like I was like, even in a pillow, even by yourself, even nobody around. She's like, no, I can't. I can't. I'm like so resistant to it. I'm like, okay. What would you tell like, what's a baby step? If you can't scream yet, what would you tell somebody? Because I honestly just she's a really close friend. You know, when you're like really close to somebody and you're like, just do it. It's not really helpful.
Yeah,
so what would you tell her?
Yeah.
She's a projector, by the way.
Oh, she is too. Do you know what her authority is?
Emotional.
So she's got a blocked solar plexus. And I don't know her and I don't mean to imply, and I'm not a therapist.
Yeah.
But to me, that's a trauma block, I feel like. So I would maybe see if you could do some time techniques with her to unblock something.
Yeah.
But if she can't scream, what can she do? Can she run really fast? Something to like exert herself. Dance, or could she silent scream? Is it the sound or is it the physical? Like, I would see what she could do instead and build up to it. But I would think maybe some time techniques.
Yeah, I think so. That would be really good. Yeah, I'm going to ask her about it because I don't know if it's like the sound. I think it is the sound. So maybe just like silent scream.
Yeah. And maybe she could convince herself it's not screaming, right? Because when you just do this, like that is like a silent scream. I know I look ridiculous, folks, but
no, that's
my friend Brian. Hi, baby. I wondered if you unfollowed me, Brian, because I didn't see you last week. Pound the cushion. Yeah, that's a good idea. Like she doesn't have to make the sound with it, but she could just hit it.
But she won't do that either. I've tried that.
What about throwing pillows?
But she did throw pillows. Like at least just like toss it down. She did it.
That's in my somatic exercises. Is picking it up, and so you pick it up with your knees and you stand up and you throw it down as hard as you can and you pick it up and do it again. That could release some rage. I feel like
it's a good idea. Excellent suggestion.
Yeah. Just in case anybody who's not on Instagram, Brian said I was busy, but I would never unfollow you. This is a time, and we have talked about it, but we haven't talked about it as it relates to this show. I am within the next month pulling myself off of Meta platforms. But I don't think we're going anywhere. Are we, Natalie?
No,
we're not going anywhere. So we'll still be on YouTube and LinkedIn, and then you can still stream to your Facebook page, and then you can still share it.
Okay.
On Instagram. It's not happening immediately. I'm taking my time because my whole business is set up on all of these platforms.
Yeah.
And so I want to establish myself more thoroughly on the other platforms and give folks a chance to migrate over. And I got everybody under the sun trying to talk me out of it. And then I get into my open head center because people are like, well, fuck the patriarchy. And maybe the best, revenge you can get is thriving really well and making the platform help you out. And I said, it feels deeper than that for me. And it's not me in judgment of anybody else. It feels different And it coincides with feelings that I've had for a long time, not specifically about Instagram, although it's all owned by the same people, but Facebook for sure.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to do like that's why again, like we don't tell people what to do and we don't tell people how to feel. Just like asking powerful questions. But if you know when you if you know if it's right for you, especially I think you brought up feeling safe. If you're not able to operate from a place of safety and security, you're not nothing. It's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for anybody else.
yeah,
So
I think it's true. And you hit on something that's really, I think projectors took a big hit with the emotions.
yeah.
Folks who, even the emotional projectors, and I know several emotional projectors, but especially if you have an undefined solar plexus, and I would venture to say anyone with an open solar plexus, really,
Mhm.
because you absorb and amplify those energies of people around you, and it was like a shield of all of it everywhere, like coming for I guess not a shield, a force field, like coming at you as hard as it could. Um, and some of us, we all handle that in really
Mhm.
different ways. Some people like went all the way silent, which is fine. I went silent in some ways and not so silent in other ways. And um, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The answers.
That's the thing is like that if there is a thing that I'm still grappling with, which there is,
Many.
it there are several, but it's that feeling of what is true, what is right. There's so much out there trying to mess with our minds right now. And so I literally just have to keep coming back to the practices that I have. Like even if it's just walking outside, being outside in nature, that does help me a lot. Doing breath work, doing tapping, like jumping up and down, screaming. I mean, yeah, I don't show that I'm doing this all the time, but I'm doing it because well, I'm surrounded by emotionals in my house, and I also online I can feel it too. It's everywhere. So what I'm grappling with is like what is true, what is real, and it's almost like I can't like it's not that I don't want to care about it. What's the right word? I can't let it just like cloud everything. Like what?
You
Because if
can't
I'm
own it.
focused on that, I'm not being in my body.
Yeah. You can't own it.
Yeah.
You can't own all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what when I'm doing readings and
Mm.
so the thing about having a defined solar plexus, which if your solar plexus is defined, it is your authority. That is the way it works in human design.
Yeah.
And those folks are naturally very empathetic. What they are not, though, is typically is an empath, because
Yeah.
empaths feel other people's feelings.
Yeah.
And so they get very confused by that. But the way that I describe it is people with a defined emotional solar plexus know what other people are feeling. They can recognize it, they can acknowledge it, but they never confuse other people's feelings with their own.
Yeah.
Ever. They clearly can be, and they can have feelings about other people's feelings, but they don't take on other people's feelings. You and I, and those of us with an open solar plexus, they come in like
Yeah.
they take over, almost like you imagine like a shadow coming in and like absorbing into your body, and you have to be able to discern, wait, is that mine or not? Do I want that or not? Now there are some things energetically we can recommend, and if you're into the woo woo and the spiritual, you might like this. And if you're not, you're going to think I'm a whack and like whatever. But grounding yourself,
Yeah.
and putting your like imagining that there's a white light that comes in through your body and out around you, and it's kind of like a hamster wheel of light, and your energy is inside and everybody else is outside. If you're really struggling with feeling all of these collective emotions from other people right now, do stuff like that before you interact with anyone else in the world.
Yeah.
it really does help. And even if it's a placebo effect, which I don't think that it is, but even if it is, your mind is going into situations thinking I'm protected, and then you show up differently.
Yep. Whether you think it's energetic or you think it's placebo, it's going to work for you. So just do it.
Yeah.
But by the way, it's science. So.
Oh, by the way, it's science. Yeah. I love the placebo effect. I'm like here for it. Because who fucking cares?
Who cares? If it works, it works.
That's how I feel. Oh, I did want to tell, I don't know who's still watching or if anybody's going to catch the replay because of all of this. And I'm not, you can plug something. This is free. I'm not charging anybody for this, but I decided to do a community book discussion for Chris and Neff's Fierce Self-Compassion, because I think we need this reminder. This book has been out for a while now. When did it come out? Like 2018, 2019?
Okay.
But still, it's been out for a while. If anybody wants it, send me a link. All I'm doing is giving people the link to join us on the dates and times that are selected, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Central, because there's no opt-in. I don't want to make any money. I'm not trying to grow, but I do want to offer some sort of community space where we can, to me, this is partnering all of those big emotions that I do not think are negative, but are often called negative.
Yeah.
Anger, frustration, partnering those with the self-love and the self-compassion and the possibility and the joy and the hope. So if anybody wants to join us,
please do. Yeah. I'm so excited. I've been on a novel, like more fiction lately. And so I'm like, okay, this feels right to add this in now. Like I need this. I need more resources in that area, like personal resources.
Yeah. Well, I haven't read a professional or self-help-ish book in years also. I'm all about the novels and I listen to memoirs. So those aren't novels, but I knew instantly on Wednesday, like, oh, this is what I need for me. And if I need this for me, other people need it for them. But like this whole row of books back here are personal development, self-help, like whatever I'm on a coaching call or if I'll do a training call with people and a book comes to mind that I know I love, I'm like, hold on. And then I go back to
the library.
They all giggle at me and I'm like, this is the one I would recommend.
I love that. You have your resource library behind you.
I really do. And then sometimes I can't find a book that I'm looking for. I'm like, did I loan it to somebody? But yeah, it could be exhausting constantly developing. And so much of what I want to do and what I believe I help people do is not learn more about how to use what you already know.
Yeah, exactly. Put it into practice, put some reps in, because it really, I've read so many books that I like, that was fun, and I don't even apply it. So
yeah, it's hard to do. I think it's hard to do. But you've got some cool stuff coming up. I've seen you pushing through, which, I don't mean that as I don't believe that you are pushing through when you don't want to, but you're finding ways to make whatever's happening work with you. So yeah, what's coming up for you?
Well, the thing with that was that it's just one of those things it's like bringing me joy and it's really fun. And it was such like a lot of work to put this together. And it's entirely free. Now, is it leading to my paid resources? Yes. But you get a lot of resources along the way with it. I created an interactive quiz. And this, I love
to build, by the way. So mad props.
It took, I conservatively guessed around 90 hours of work on this, but it's probably more because little broken up times of things. But I feel this has been a recent thing for me. I have gate 54 as my conscious sun gate. That is the gate of ambition. I have always been an ambitious person. There's a lot more to my human design than that, obviously, but I've been kind of afraid of that and kind of holding back on that. But then who I want to be, embrace their ambition are, well, specifically women who think that they can't do this, who think that this is too hard. Like if you have something that you sell, whether it's a brick and mortar products or coaching or whatever it is that you sell, and you think there's the worst thing I can imagine is somebody thinking, oh, this was too hard. It wasn't for me. And then they stop when really we need your gift. Like we need everybody. We need your gifts. And right now there's a huge message coming loud and clear to me of like, make money too. If you are looking to make more money, anyway, you have to sell things. You have to be able to sell. And every single person has a superpower that allows them to be really good at selling. So I just created a quiz where you find out what your superpower is and you get resources to actually unleash that. So a tapping video and a subliminal audio.
I love
it. It was fun. But yeah, it was like, and we're launching it now.
And I just am going to go on record is if any of my empowerment people are watching this, no, you cannot go and find out your superpower from Natalie's quiz because I make them do all sorts of internal work to identify their superpower.
Yeah.
After we're done with the cohort.
Yes, when you're done with that.
Go and do it. Because I'm like, don't ask your friends. You need to know what your superpower.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't even planning on talking about that, but thank you.
No, I love it.
I'm just like, I just want people to know that you can do this. It's like lies telling you that you can't. So,
yeah, yeah. Wow. So we both have big stuff coming out this week, then.
Yes, yeah. And I'm just like trying to stay on top of, the creativity has been a struggle for me this week. I mean, this week, like every week is flowing into the next week. Last week, creativity was a struggle for me. I've been cleaning my house. I need to clean things out. I need to clear out energy.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like hoping that helps me with my creativity. So hopefully I'll be able to get my stuff together and sell more, put it out there more.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I was thinking about, I guided my group on Wednesday or on Friday through that EFT tapping. And I told them I would record it for them. And then I thought maybe I should offer that as a free resource too, because it was about self-compassion when the world around you feels like it's on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally made like my podcast last week was just a subliminal audio for people to listen to.
I love you so much. Tell people how they can find your podcast. Because
just wherever you're on podcasts, it's The Embodied Entrepreneur. But I was like, I don't have a message for this week. I just think you might need to feel more safe and secure in I don't know. I really didn't see this outcome coming. I honestly felt the biggest thing is I felt stupid for like expecting it to be okay. But I put it out anyway. Maybe like my higher self knew or whatever. I just felt like people needed to feel safe and grounded. And so this audio helps them with that.
I love that. And I'm a big fan of the subliminal audios. So now you just listen to this one from Natalie whenever you want. That's good. Go get that resource. But don't feel stupid for believing it. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Also, I just think there's something else at play and maybe we'll find out what it is.
Yeah. I also have that intuition too. I have there's something happening, but I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's something.
Yeah. So, well, on that note, I suppose we should for today, but it's good to talk to you. We did talk about, for anybody who's watching, not doing the show today. And I certainly knew that I'm not necessarily feeling my best, but I think we both wanted to come on and just be honest. And that's what this is all about. So, right.
I know I was thinking that too, as I was like, maybe we shouldn't do it. And then I was like, well, this is kind of the whole point. We said good, bad, and ugly. So here we are.
Yeah, I love it. And I'm grateful for you, friend.
Grateful for you too. Thank you.
Well, folks, we will see you next Wednesday. I'm Heather.
I'm Natalie.
Projectors in the wild. Bye, y'all.